Good afternoon to you. Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here with your hurricane outlook and discussion. It is now October 1st, 2020. I hope your afternoon is going well. We have some interesting things to talk about today. Tropics trying to get a little bit more active as we begin this month, the next to last month of the Atlantic hurricane season. Probably going to be a busy month overall. All the parameters seem to be in place for us to have a few more named storms, maybe some hurricanes here and there. The good news is nothing appears imminent in terms of any major problems, but we do have a few features that could give us some issues, especially for our friends down in Central America. First, let's take a look at October climatology real quick. This goes through 2015. Hopefully this map will get updated at some point in the future. That would be nice. But for now, it goes through 2015, and as you can see, a smattering, I guess it's more than a smattering, of activity way out all across the Atlantic here. You know, it's widely spread out. That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas in the Caribbean here, in parts of the Gulf, it's more concentrated. And so this is the area that we focused in on the most, but you can't discount development in this part of the Atlantic basin, the southwest part of the basin either. That seems to be a pretty active area, but the biggest concentration is through here, and that is in fact where we will be watching the closest over the coming days and weeks probably. The eastern Pacific stays fairly busy as well, and right on cue, of course, we do have Hurricane Marie out that way. This is the first 10 days of October. Let's move ahead. The second 10 days, again, generally we see a concentration here in the western Caribbean and a much broader concentration in the southwest Atlantic, and then a few random areas out here, loosely concentrated, as it were, out over the tropical Atlantic and parts of the subtropics. And then finally, the last third of October, activity really starts to calm down. We have no development in this time frame that we've seen out in the far eastern Atlantic, a few areas up here in the subtropics, and then less of a concentration, but still, generally speaking, the southwest and western Caribbean and southwest Atlantic are our favored areas. And you remember, it was this time frame, actually the second third into the third of October, that we got Hurricane Wilma 15 years ago. And so you can get development even towards the end of October. Remember also we had Sandy in 2012, we had Matthew in 2016, all of those October. Michael, of course, 2018, October. Joaquin was October. Gonzalo, 2014, that was October. So yes, October can be busy. And, you know, it is kind of busy. A couple of areas to watch. We have Invest area 91L down here just to the east of the border area between Honduras and Nicaragua. 40%, 70% respectively over the next 2 to 5 days. And basically this comes down to a couple of factors that we can talk about. Does this area of energy stay over water long enough to develop, or does it get tangled up over land? And do we ever even get a concentrated area of vorticity or spin in the atmosphere to close off, focus all that heat energy that's down there, and wait till I show you the upper ocean heat content here in a moment. Those are the limiting factors. That's kind of the unknowns, is how much time does this spend over water before and assuming that it ever does become focused and bundled. Obviously, the faster that it comes together, the more potent this could be in terms of stronger wind and higher overall impacts for our friends and followers, etc., down in Central America. But as it stands, heavy rain is possible for portions of Honduras, Nicaragua, but especially for Belize, the Yucatan, Cozumel, Cancun, and maybe parts of the Caymans as well, as this is a pretty broad system, as I will show you. And then we have this other area, not yet designated as an area of investigation, or an invest as we call it, but we'll look at that more in just a moment. In the meantime, real quick, Hurricane Marie, fairly powerful now, up to 90 knots or 105 miles per hour, moving west-northwest across the open eastern Pacific. Not going to be a problem for any direct land impacts, but we might see some swells radiate out from this and head towards the Baja, which would be good for surfing interests. And the same is true, maybe some of those swells reach over here to mainland Mexico on the Pacific side, and you all could benefit from the surf conditions there as well. Just be mindful that some of those swells can be pretty big, so just be careful. If you are lucky enough to be vacationing or you live along the Pacific coast of Mexico, I bet it's beautiful there. I've never been there myself. And these hurricanes can produce some very big swells. And luckily, it's not going to have any direct impacts. So here's a satellite perspective of a good deal of North America, the Eastern Pacific. There is Marie. And here are our twin areas of interest right here. The second area is kind of a large mishmash, that's my word, of clouds and all kinds of weather there. But this is the first area right here. This is Invest 91L, and we have the front that has come through. That's right through here. And then just absolutely incredibly dry weather pretty much everywhere north and west of that front, with the exception of some instability showers and even some lake effect. Yes, already having lake effect, not snow because it's not cold enough yet, but the colder air coming across those warmer lakes creates that overall instability, and we're getting some lake effect rain and a few thunderstorms up over portions of the Great Lakes. Jack Sillen was conversing with me about that the other day, and as Tim Bruno, one of our supporters and good friends of ours as well, it's almost that time of year. So looking a little bit farther to the east, very active still. Energy out here across the Atlantic, lots of it. Hard to tell if any of these are ever going to, become their own thing, so to speak, and bundle all that energy up and become a tropical cyclone. We don't know. We don't know for sure, but the players are certainly on the field, as it were. Lots of available energy out there, and probably more coming off the coast of Africa in the coming days. Even though Cape Verde season, as we call it, Cape Cabo Verde, whatever, is generally over, we shouldn't get too much in the way of development out here. That doesn't mean these tropical waves are going to stop coming. No, they're definitely going to keep coming, and they're just going to be at a lower latitude, meaning that they will end up, in all likelihood, at least the majority of their energy, into the Caribbean. They're going to survive long enough to get there. All right, so upper ocean heat content, what we call tropical cyclone heat potential, still quite formidable, especially in the Caribbean Sea here. All of this yellow, orange, red, and then white. These are the upper limits, all the way at the top of the scale and even off the scale. And what does that mean? Maybe you're new to watching my stuff on YouTube. Maybe you just started following the tropics this year, or you've always wanted to know what in the world is upper ocean heat content. Well, just think of it. We know that ocean temperatures need to be around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or roughly 26 and some change Celsius, but it's not just at the surface. The deeper that 80 degree, what we call isotherm, is in the ocean, the deeper that warm layer is, the thicker it is, the more ocean heat content there is, because the hurricanes do a number of things. They churn the ocean up by their very existence. They also kind of blow the top of the ocean off. And in the strongest of hurricanes, it literally kind of turns that ocean surface into this almost lubricating heat machine, where it's just wicking that very warm surface water directly into the core of the hurricane. It's quite fascinating when you think about it. So you got to have more warm water to replenish the warm water that's being literally blown off of the surface and condensed into what we see as the rain squalls and the core of hurricanes and the rain bands, etc. The more of that warm water that's available deep down, the stronger these hurricanes can get, because they're just bringing up more warm water. It basically provides an almost limitless supply, unless these hurricanes stall or move very slowly, and then they can sort of self-destruct. So that's what this shows us. This is a product from the NOAA AOML site, part of the Hurricane Research Division. The Atlantic Oceanographic Meteorological Lab, I think is what that stands for, AOML, down in Miami. And yeah, I mean, all of that yellow and red and white, that's very high upper ocean heat content. If we zoom into the Caribbean, I mean, wow, that is pretty remarkable. Very, very high values all through the Caribbean. Tomato. My son the other day was asking me the difference between a tomato and a tomato. That's a story for another day. But Caribbean or Caribbean, yeah, it's very warm down there. Either way you pronounce it. And so it would just kind of beg to argue that eventually something's going to come out of this, considering all the warm water that's there. And it's not just warm, it's actually warmer than average by a pretty good clip. You know, we're talking more than a degree Celsius averaged out across this region. Water temperatures are warmer than they should be normally. If we go back in time and get an average, they're warmer than average. So lots of heat energy available. We will just have to see if something comes along to take advantage of that. So here is another way of looking at our disturbances, the vorticity signature. And let's go to the white color there. So this is 91L, and as you can see, it's linear. It's stretched out. You know, it's not focused and bundled like Marie over here, going off the edge of the screen, is round in its appearance. This is still stretched out. It's not focused yet. We have a large area of vorticity down here with a concentration of it approaching portions of the windwards. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. There's the front that's draped across thousands of miles. That represents vorticity or spin in the atmosphere. But it, too, is stretched out over a very large area. Now, this is interesting. A nice bundle of vorticity. A packet of it, whatever you want to call it. Pouch, pocket, whatever. South and west of the Cabo Verde Islands over here. That, too, will migrate off to the west here with time. And we will have to watch as that energy eventually makes its way into the Caribbean. Now, I want to show you something that I think is really, really neat, the way we can look at these models. Remember the other night, the ZeroZ run, Wednesday night into Thursday, that got everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people fired up because of that unbelievable end game that it showed, where it took the first system in, kind of dilly-dallied around, but then that second piece came in, and it created that incredible hurricane. Well, I say incredible, I mean in terms of it was very powerful and it could do a lot of damage. Let me just show you real quick. This is the evolution of that ZeroZ run from Wednesday night into Thursday, and this is what it showed. We all remember that. So let's go back to hour 42, which is right here. This, from the ZeroZ model, Wednesday night into Thursday, is valid right now. Well, roughly right now. 45 minutes after right now, so to speak, in the model world. This is 18Z in the model, and I'm putting this video together at 1845 Z, 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Bottom line, this is the model from the other night, and look at what it shows. This is very interesting. There's the vorticity signature for what is now 91L. This is what the model was showing 42 hours out from the initial time of ZeroZ Wednesday night into Thursday, right? The ZeroZ Thursday run. And there's the other system there in the Caribbean. So let me get the telestration away there, the annotation on the screen. And just remember what you're looking at there. I'm going to circle them just to help you. Remember how this looks, the shape of it. It's kind of linear. This has a little bit of curvature to it, but you know, this is in the Eastern Caribbean. That's what the model was predicting for right about now. This is what it looks like in reality. That's not bad, you got to admit. There's the area in the Caribbean and the eastern side. This is that stretched out area in the Western Caribbean, and this is what the model was indicating Wednesday night on the ZeroZ run for Thursday, right? Kind of stretched out. There's this area here. Not bad. You know, you got to say, hey, that's pretty good. 42 hours later, the reality is pretty close to what the model predicted. So why then, if you just kept this going, doesn't this happen with 91L over the Yucatan? As you can see, we're at day 5, and then that other piece congeals east of Honduras, Nicaragua, and so forth and so on. How come the rest of this doesn't come to fruition? That is the big question. I mean, seriously, that's what makes this stuff at the same time so utterly fascinating, but so utterly frustrating, because if you could believe the models all the way out, in this case to 270 hours, that's what this is showing from the ZeroZ run Thursday, you would know, oh my goodness, if I'm in the vicinity of the Keys, Naples, Fort Myers, whatever, I better be getting ready for a hurricane in about 10 days. It would be great to know that. But the problem is, once you get past that 42-hour mark, where everything looked like, okay, we go from here, at what point does it start to unravel, basically? Like, we could go and look and see later on, like if I went and did another video in another 12 hours, and we advance this out 12 more hours or whatever, does it look like that? Like, when does it start to go awry? I don't know. I'm just showing you. This is part of the frustration here. We don't know. And so if we go and say, okay, well, that was ZeroZ Thursday, Wednesday night into Thursday, let's look at the 12Z run from today and just what it shows overall. All right, so the 12Z run for today, this is initialized at 12Z, so that would be 8 a.m. Eastern Time. It's the same exact domain area, the 850 millibar, cyclonic vorticity, etc. It's the same parameters, and this too is valid pretty much right now. And it's a little different. It's got more energy up here, more energy back over here. So already, just a few hours after it was run, the 12Z from today doesn't exactly, I guess it's close enough. Yeah, I'll give it to it. It's got a little bit, in reality, there's more energy over here, I guess. But it does show that pretty well. Maybe this northern lobe's a little stronger. You can nitpick this all you want. But anyway, let's just get to it. So the 12Z, and we're only talking about a day and a half later as we run this through, doesn't show nearly the same result at all. If we go out to 200 hours or whatever, there's hour 204. It's got, instead of a powerful hurricane sitting off southwest Florida, just a rainmaker. This area stretched out through here. Very heavy rain would be my guess, and no real big problems except for heavy rain, which in and of itself can be a big problem. Yes, I'm not underplaying that, but it certainly is a big difference in this. Where was it? Right? And we can all agree. That's a big difference between that and that. So what changed? I can't spend all day addressing what changed, but it just shows you the guidance is only good for a few days. That's what I was talking about yesterday. And I just think it's interesting, and it makes it very difficult if you're looking for long-range, medium-range solutions beyond 5 days. They're simply not there. There's no way to know for sure, as to exactly what's going to happen. Sorry about the weed eater. I'm sure you can hear that. I got a good microphone right here. See, it's one of these Rode. This is my mic. Yeah. And it picks up that weed eater pretty well, I bet. I know it's a very sensitive mic if you're listening on headphones. Rumbling the mic can blow your eardrums. Hey, the weed eater guy quit. It's not my yard, it's the neighbor's yard. Anyway, that's what happens when you have the windows open. You're easily distracted. Bottom line is, it's really interesting following the guidance and, again, illustrating what I talked about yesterday, up to about 5 days. It's just like, forget it. Forget it. It's absolute chaos, and you see all kinds of wild solutions that can happen, and it's trying to figure out when do things start to change. And I don't know. That's something for the people much smarter than I, and probably all of us put together, to figure out, if we can ever figure it out. All right? All right. Hey, don't forget, we are supported through Patreon. Hey, there's me. This crowdfunding campaign. It's not just during hurricane season. I encourage you to get involved. We're doing a lot of good work. Yes, it's mainly hurricane focused, but beyond that, the off-season stuff, the discussions, the winter storms, and all sorts of things that I'm going to be talking about later in October that we're planning for 2021 that you can get involved with. And if you sign up, especially at this $10 level and higher, if you sign up here or higher, you get access to our HurricaneTrack Insider, and that's where all the goodies are. That's the best of the best, and these are our real supporters here. All of these people are real. Cecil and Josh and all kinds of folks on here. This is Kari from the UK, and these are the people that support the project, and you get access to our tracking map, which is really freaking awesome. One of our supporters from over here in the UK put this together, Will Woodgate, with the cooperation of my good friend Jason Sikoski over in Raleigh. He and I have been friends ever since we were kids. And Cecil, I'm sorry, not Cecil. Well, Cecil has input. Cecil's on the brain today. Cecil's up in the Greensboro, Winston-Salem area. Howard Simon's in Bermuda, right there in the middle of the ocean. Well, part of the middle. Anyway, they all contributed to make this fine tracking map with all these different layers. Our Nest cameras are on there. These are the permanent ones. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Our permanent cameras, you click on them and you get a glimpse of what's going on down in the Virgin Islands as it waits to load because of my slow internet. There it is. And we set these up for hurricanes, of course, but even in the times when there's no hurricanes, let's see if the one up here from Lucas is still going. Yeah, this is up here in Nova Scotia. Wait till you see this during the winter. That's going to be amazing. So anyway, this is one of the things that you get. And yeah, we even keep track of Pacific tropical activity as well. I've always wanted a map like this, and this is the power of crowdfunding. It's not a subscription service where you pay money and you get a product, and it's one way. This is two ways. It's very interactive, and this is part of what we do with it. Some of these cameras are put at our patrons' locations. It's truly an interactive thing. Very, very amazing what we've done. And, of course, the digital dashboard when we're out on a mission. These all get populated with cameras. This is the one that we left permanently in Freeport over at Wendy's place. Wendy and Michael live there. There's the front loader fixing the beach after Tropical Storm Beta. Look at that. Real time. They're fixing things up after that tropical storm. But yes, this is all accomplished through Patreon, the crowdfunding effort. To sign up, you go to patreon.com/HurricaneTrack. The link to it's in the description of the video. And one thing I've learned, and I'm going to be working on this more and more, from a lot of the gamers especially, is the ability to get these videos to be seen more and encouraging people to like these videos. And apparently that does make a difference. It's not for my ego at all. I'm very happy that even 50 people watch what I do. And if it ends up being thousands, that's great because it just helps to grow the project. So I'm going to be encouraging that more and more. Hit that like button. Help get this video noticed on YouTube and all the videos that we do. And it'll help to grow the project because, as they say in that famous movie with Jack Nicholson, you want me on that wall. You want me here. At least I hope you do. And I want you there. And I want to keep you safe. And this is all how we fund it and make it work. And it's the power of social media. So yes, please like the video, share all the videos. Let's get the word out and grow this project into its full potential. Look at what we've done this year. And just wait until I tell you about what we're doing as we go into 2021. Holy cow. It's going to be exciting, and it's all thanks to you guys. It really is. All right, as always, thank you for tuning in. That is the most important part. Without people watching on the other side and listening to me, there's really no reason for me to be here, honestly. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your Thursday afternoon. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow.